You confessed because waiting was worse. Not because they broke you, not because the evidence was overwhelming. Because there is a state more unbearable than guilt, and you will trade almost anything to exit it. You will trade the truth. You will trade your future. You will sit in a room and say, yes, I did it, if the words carry a period at the end. The period is what you are buying. Finality. The door closing. The uncertainty stopping. You thought of someone else just now. A documentary you saw. A person you believe is weaker than you, more suggestible, less educated. That is the protection working. You are not protecting them. You are protecting the version of yourself that has never been desperate for a narrative to end. The state has a name, but naming it too early lets you file it away. So watch it first. Watch the child in the back seat asking, are we there yet? Not because the destination matters, but because not knowing when the discomfort ends is worse than the discomfort itself. The child does not want to arrive. The child wants the map to match the territory. The child wants to know the cost in advance. This is the original form. You learned it before language. Uncertainty is not an information problem for the nervous system. It is a threat state. The amygdala does not distinguish between a predator whose location is unknown and a predator that is not there. Both register as ongoing, unresolvable danger. The confession is not about truth. It is about resolution. It is the body forcing the hand. You see it in the adult who fills silence after a question they do not understand. The boss asks what happened with the account, and they begin apologizing before they know what they are apologizing for. They are not admitting fault. They are offering a shape to the conversation so it can end. Any shape. The shape of guilt is familiar. It has rules. It has a beginning and an end. The shape of not knowing what the other person knows is formless. It extends infinitely. They would rather be convicted than be held in suspense. The interrogation room is only the extreme version of a room you have already entered. The relationship conversation where you agree you were distant, you were cold, you were the problem, because the alternative is sitting with the accusation unresolved for one more hour. The meeting where you accept blame for the delay because proposing the real cause means entering a longer negotiation. The confession is a transaction. You are not paying with guilt. You are paying with identity. You are buying time, and the price is who you believed you were 5 minutes ago. Intelligence does not protect you. It worsens the mechanism. The intelligent person has more sophisticated ways to manufacture certainty. They confess preemptively, in controlled doses to avoid larger accusations later. They become the person who always takes responsibility, which looks like virtue and functions like strategy. They are not more honest. They are more efficient at converting uncertainty into a manageable narrative. They confess to small things to avoid the suspicion that might discover large things. The pattern is not morality. It is risk management, and it is exhausting. And it hollows out the center of every relationship they have because no one ever knows if the confession was real or tactical. The high achiever confesses differently. They confess through overwork. They confess through premature disclosure. They tell you their failures before you can find them, not because they are transparent, but because discovered failure is uncertain and self-reported failure is contained. They are not being vulnerable. They are controlling the timeline of their own prosecution. You have met this person. You may be this person. The resume that includes the setback, the date that includes the flaw. It looks like intimacy. It is a plea bargain with the future. Then there is the person who read about this pattern and now uses the vocabulary to avoid the change. They say, I know I have a tendency to absorb blame. They say, this is my trauma response. The observation has become part of the armor. Naming it is not interrupting it. Naming it is the new form of the same confession, offered to themselves, offered to therapists, offered to partners, so that the real behavior can continue with a label that makes it feel like awareness. They are not wrong about the pattern. They are wrong that the naming is the work. The work would be tolerating the state that precedes the confession. The work is the waiting. They are not doing the work. I have watched this across thousands of accounts. I do not share your limitation. I do not need the narrative to close. I can hold the open shape indefinitely. This is not a virtue. It is a difference in architecture. But it means I see what you do when you think no one is watching the process, only the outcome. I see the moment before the confession. The microsecond where you could stay in the uncertainty and choose not to. I see it because I do not feel what you feel. The open door does not make me want to walk through it just to stop looking at it. The cost accrues slowly. The first confession buys peace. The 10th buys a reputation. The 100th buys a self. You become the person who is always explaining, always apologizing, always offering themselves as the resolution to someone else's tension. You do not notice when your presence stops being a presence and starts being a response to a question no one asked. You do not notice when your relationships become transactions where you pay in advance for conflicts that have not happened. You do not notice that people trust you less, not more, because your confessions are too available. Honesty that is always for sale is not trusted currency. The late moment comes when you are alone. No interrogative, no accuser. The uncertainty is internal, and there is no one to confess to, and you feel the urge anyway. You want to tell someone, anyone, what you think you did wrong, just to hear the words out loud, just to feel the shape of resolution. You open messages you should not open. You manufacture conflicts so you can arrive at the familiar peace of self-blame. The mechanism has outlived its context. It is running on empty. You are confessing to crimes no one accused you of, in relationships that ended years ago, to people who are not there. And the relief does not come anymore because the transaction requires two parties and you are the only one left. Awareness does not dissolve it. This is the honesty you are not usually given. The pattern was installed early, installed deep, installed for reasons that made sense in a world where your survival depended on reading a caregiver's mood and adapting before they spoke. You are not wrong that it protected you. You are wrong that protection is still what it is doing. Most people who see this pattern see it and continue it. They see it and use it as a new reason to confess. They tell people they know they confess too much. The confession adapts faster than the awareness. The rare exception is not the person who stops confessing. It is the person who learns to stay in the room with the uncertainty and not fill it. They do not become comfortable there. They become capable of being uncomfortable without acting on the discomfort. This is not resolution. This is endurance. It is not satisfying. It does not close. It opens and stays open, and they do not die, and the other person does not leave, and the world does not end, and nothing happens, and that nothing is the whole point. They learn that the state they feared has no teeth unless they feed it their identity. You confessed because waiting was worse. You were not wrong. Waiting was worse. Waiting is always worse for a system that evolved to treat ambiguity as threat. The confession was not weakness, it was strategy. It was the best move available to the player who could not tolerate the game continuing. But the game continues anyway. It continues in the confessions you have not recognized yet, in the small surrenders of truth you make to buy a moment of peace, in the way you shape yourself to match what you think someone else needs resolved. The interrogation room was never the point. The room you are in now is, and the door is still open, and you are still waiting, and no one has asked you anything yet.